She's kind of been dropping some hints that I think she'd like to try hanging out as friends.
That as a professional, you may think that you'll never find yourself in an ethical situation. However, it could happen. And so that's why we do have the NOS ethical standards as well as some other things that you may want to consult with to help you to work through those types of situations. So just keeping in mind what Dr. Maxwell said about the importance of referencing the NOS ethical standards and the quote about connecting the connection between making an ethical decision and taking liberties with one's moral compass. So you'll see in the upcoming scenario that when faced with an ethical dilemma in our professional lives, there are different methods. The first one, of course, is referencing the NOS ethical standards. Has anyone actually gone to go look them up? Or are you all pretty much familiar with those?
Basically, I think since the beginning of entering into the human services, we've been looking at the ethical standards. So they're something pretty like familiar.
Another area that you may want to explore is to look at existing laws. There may just be laws within your community that maybe your city council has set up that, dictate how the agency, how their interaction is to be with members of the community. So there could be just existing laws on that topic, as well as there could be national laws. Another source could be the Department of Health and Human Services. They may have some overriding information about interaction with clients when you're working with them on a professional level. And so that's another source that you may want to look at. As we mentioned, the agency may even have an overriding practice or policy. However, seeking professional advice can be even a more powerful tool that can give you a different perspective. And definitely this would be one that you would want to add to your list. And so that's going to be our focus this evening. Speaking with a colleague or a supervisor or another professional who may have knowledge in the area that's creating the ethical situation that can help you to gain just a different perspective, as well as there could be additional self-care benefits that occur as a result of opening up and sharing what's happening within yourself. In this here slide, as you can see, this is going to be the case scenario. The information in this scenario, it's going to help you with your development, whether you're new to the program or you've completed some courses, because some of you may be further along in the program, as Dr. Maxwell, she had stated earlier. So can we have one of you volunteer to read the case? Thank you.
So Dan Thomas, who is a learner, is a 30-year-old married Latin male. He is a case manager.
Sarah has been working with her new client, Wendy Scott, all 3 weeks. Wendy is 23 years old. She's a white female and is seeking help with housing insecurity. Sarah really likes Wendy because they seem to have a lot in common. Wendy was also born in Tennessee and moved to Georgia to get a fresh start. Wendy has been making statements that lead Sarah to believe they should spend some time hanging out. Sarah is really wants to develop a relationship with Wendy outside of work. However, she's not sure if it would be the right thing to do. Therefore, Sarah goes to Dan, her coworker, to discuss the issue. And we're ready for the simulation to begin.
Hi. Thank you so much for meeting with me. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing excellent. I believe your name is Sarah, is it?
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah. My name is Clementine Johnson, and I'm here to to kind of work with you. I understand you have a little dilemma going on. You have some questions regarding a client and your relationship with that client and different things like that. And I'm so glad that you're open to come in and ask questions before actually taking action on your own.
I've started getting really close to one of my clients. And, I find out we both were originally from Tennessee, and we have
Mhm,
a lot of other stuff in common,
mhm.
and we're just kind of bonding when we meet.
Good.
And I think she has, unless I'm just totally misreading the situation, which I hope I'm not,
Mhm,
she's kind of initiated that she would like to maybe hang out,
mhm,
outside of work. And me not having many friends right now and being so lonely, I would honestly love that. I've been itching to have that kind of contact, but I just, because she is a client and I'm trying to assist her, I feel like that would be unethical, and I don't want to
mhm.
make a bad decision that's going to impact her or myself. So maybe
Okay.
you could tell me what I should do.
Okay, there's a couple things going on here. Number one, you have to always remember that is your client. Okay. And yes, you are right. There are ethical policies put in place, principles put in place for a reason. And it's with the National Organization for Human Services, ethical standards. So always remember that in the position that you're in. Secondly, you also have to remember both of you, your client and yourself, you're in vulnerable positions. You're new to the city. Okay. You're lonely. Believe me, that person sees your vulnerability.
I don't want to offend her as a
Right.
client. I'm afraid that
Mhm.
she, wouldn't want to come to me anymore. It would hurt the professional relationship as well. How can I make her understand that we need to maintain that professional relationship?
Well, I think just even your questionings are really direct and without hurting any feelings or putting her on the defense or you being defensive. So I think, like they say, sometimes the truth is the best answer. In other words, let her know that the national organization for human services ethical standards doesn't allow for to have double relationships or two relationships. You are the client, she is your client, and you'd like to keep it professional even though you enjoy her. She is wonderful personality. You look forward to meeting her. Let's matter of fact, let's schedule another meeting for next week. I want to see how things are going. But I want to keep you focused on that, keep you focused on yourself right now because it's about, and let her know it's about her. And I think in that would make her feel more confident that you really are on her side. You have her best interest in mind.
She's kind of been dropping some hints that I think she'd like to try hanging out as friends, outside of work. And, honestly, I would love that because I really do like her. I'd love to get to know her more personally, but, something tells me I just don't feel like that would be right, trying to start that kind of relationship with a client. And
We'd have to basically respectfully and sensitively and directly tell her no, it's not possible. Now, if there were things where she was kind of pushing for it and she needed an explanation of why, then you could refer to the standards that we're bound by. As professionals, we have to hold our clients' safety and their progress is very important to us. So, in order to do this, we cannot develop dual relationships. We have to say a working relationship is a working relationship. That doesn't mean we can't continue to build rapport with our client. We just have to know the limitations to that relationship, which means we cannot have friendships with our clients outside of work.
I'm so glad that you put it that way because part of me was afraid that if the hints became less subtle and, she started asking me, to do stuff directly, I was afraid of rejecting her and upsetting her and ruining, the professional relationship too. I was starting to get nervous about that. But, I think the way you just explained, if I can just sit her down professionally and explain the rules to her, I think that would be the best way.
Yeah,
I'm hoping, I mean, she couldn't take too much offense to that if I tell her, it's a policy.
of course. And I mean, even sometimes it might be a situation where offense can be taken to it, and then you would have to remain firm that it's just something that you can't do, but you want to continue to help her with the helping relationship. Your main goal is to help her. So you don't want to destroy that relationship. You want to keep that bond going, but you also want her to know that you're here to help her as a client more than as a friend.
Thank you so much. You've been so helpful and